Do you have a drawer or a box full of messy paperwork that you kind of know that you should organize better, but it's just so much work? Hey guys, it's Tegan. A couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine asked me, what do I keep in terms of records and how do I store them? So today I'm going to show you how I keep all of my invoices, user manuals, and even some personal, vehicle, and medical records. Let's get started. This is how I do it, okay? You can see it says records, and this is basically a box full of, you guessed it, records. Now, for some of us who grew up in the digital age, this box might seem very old school. It's called a suspension file box. Basically, it has a rim around the edge, and then you buy these little paper things that are called suspension files, and they have little hooks on the edge that sit on the rim in the box. Now, when I was in my early 20s and I first started keeping things, records of things, I thought that I would be perfectly fine with a flip file. But I found it quite frustrating because it was hard to move things around and it got really bulky really quickly. By the way, if you hear like weird scratching sounds, it's my cats, they're playing. So after some trial and error, I landed on the suspension file box because it gives me a really easy way to move things around, and it caters really well for thick things like user manuals. I'll admit, I don't really have an actual system, like there isn't an order to how everything's laid out in this box. I kind of just go with the vibes. One of these has the washing machine, the dishwasher, and the fridge in it because those are like big kitchen appliances, right? And then there'll be another one with the mattress and the bed. And when I say it's got these things in it, what I mean is any user manual that maybe came with the item and the invoice or the slip from the shop. If it is a slip, I photocopy it and then I staple the original slip onto the piece of paper that has the photocopy. And that's because slips are on heat transfer paper and they fade over time. So let me find an example to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, this is actually the perfect example. Recently, I had to buy a new vacuum cleaner. It made me feel very old to realize that the vacuum cleaner I had was 8 years old and needed to be replaced. But here we are. So you can see I have, as I said, photocopied the slip. So here's the photocopy. And then I like to write a little summary of where I bought it, how much it was, and any other information, like here I wrote the salesperson's name. And then I also just, as I said, staple the original onto the paper. And then here is the little user manual, and I will usually try and put these together like that, but I don't staple them or anything. And then I just put it into the section, which I've already lost. It was this section, right. So then I just pop it in like that. Now, some of you might be wondering, Tegan, why are you keeping all of this stuff? And it's a great question, and I do have an answer. I have had to do multiple warranty claims. I've also had to do 1 or 2 returns, sort of quite a while after I've bought the item. And I've also often found myself wondering how on earth a certain appliance works when it suddenly starts doing something unexpected. For example, the washing machine sometimes throws an error code. And also, when you have to replace an appliance, it's nice to be able to see when did you buy the last one and how much did it cost you, so that you can have an idea of, did this thing actually last me as long as I thought it would? Was the price really worth it? What has inflation done to the price of this particular item? Etc., etc. Now, you may have noticed that there is also a section of flip files here, the old-fashioned flip files. And what I use these for is for things that do work better in flip files. So you can see this one is labeled medical and pets. And basically in the front, I have all of my medical records like prescriptions, doctor's visits, invoices from the dentist, things like that. And at the back, I have pet stuff. See, there's even a cover page here. I'm so organized. So when I adopted the pets, their vaccine cards, etc., etc. Then this one is just job searching resources. I've had to job search a couple times, so I found that it's helpful just to keep things on file, like, you know, interview questions, and there's even some of my own stuff in there, like blurbs about myself that I can use to apply for jobs. What is this one? This one's very thick. Ah yes, my car. So for my car, I keep all of the service records. So you can see here, licenses, services, regular stuff like wheel balancing and alignment. And then at the back here, I have irregular costs like incidents, repairs, like once-off repairs, things like that. The last one is called personal. You'll see, so this is stuff like legal stuff like my marriage contract and my will and some other things I can't remember right now. And then at the back, it's got my certificates and my transcripts and a whole bunch of other stuff. Obviously, this is all physical paper. I generally keep all of the invoices and user manuals in hard copy. It's useful to have them, as I explained, but it's not like I have to have them digitally. There are obviously a bunch of things that I also keep in digital format, payslips and tax documents and the kind of stuff that happens every year and is also really useful to have on the computer as opposed to hard copy. I got these suspension folders from, I think I actually got them from Takealot, but you can get them from any stationery shop. The brand is Bantex, and they do make their own plastic box as well that you can use to store them. But I didn't really like the look of their plastic box. So I found this plastic suspension file box at Store & More. And yeah, I really like it. It's quite compact considering how much is in here.